Addison Bethea was searching for scallops near Keaton Beach, Florida, when a shark brutally attacked her, and the next 20 seconds of her life became pure terror. This is her story. Viewer discretion is advised. Coming across a shark in the water is truly harrowing. It's like feeling a sudden shock that makes you freeze. You realize you are in the same place as a big, powerful predator that could kill you any second. That's the situation Addison was in when she was caught off guard by almost a 10-foot long shark. When Addison felt a pull on her leg, she initially thought it was her brother Red joking around. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon and they were snorkeling off the coast of Florida, searching for scallops with a couple of Red's friends. This was a new experience for one of Red's friends. They were even teasing him about sharks just to give him a scare. But after about 20 minutes of swimming, Addison suddenly felt a strong tug on her right leg, pulling her underwater. Throughout the afternoon, she and her brother had been swimming near Red's new boat, passing a bag of scallops back and forth while playfully bumping into each other. However, when Addison came up for air, she realized that Red was ahead of her, and whoever pulled her under the water was not her brother. That's when she realized. Suddenly, the shark emerged out of nowhere beside Addison and bit into her right calf. She yelled for her brother as that was all she could think to do. Just as Red glanced over, the shark bit Addison again, this time on her right thigh, dragging her beneath the surface. She screamed again for help, and her brother Red, who was a firefighter and an EMT, heard her for the second time. For a second, Red got confused. Where had she disappeared to? Then she resurfaced, and that's when he witnessed everything unfolding all at once. The shark's tail thrashing, the blood, and it was overwhelming. At the time of the attack, Addison was only 17 years old, and she didn't really know exactly what to do. But she knew that with sharks, you are supposed to punch them in the nose to get them off of you. But she couldn't get around to punch him in the nose. Then she started soaking it in the face and then poked its eyes. She tried to latch it off her with her fingers and then it bit her hand. Meanwhile, Red, after processing what is happening right in front of him, he didn't waste a second and swam over to Addison. He knew the only way he could save Addison was to actually fight the shark, so he literally fought and got the shark off Addison. Once they both were able to make a run for a boat nearby, Addison started resisting, still trying defending herself by reaching into shark's gills and poking at its eyes. Well, that was probably due to the shock, but she was truly brave because anyone else probably would have frozen. They would not have been able to do anything. But one way or another, Red pulled her sister into the boat, where he quickly applied a tourniquet to her leg to stop the bleeding. After that, they hurried back to the shore as fast as they could to get her to the hospital. According to the Taylor County Sheriff's Office, the shark was about 9 feet long, could be a tiger or even a bull shark. Addison suffered serious damage to her body, one bite leaving devastating damage to her soft tissues in her right leg. Perhaps due to the shock, she didn't actually see the shark during the attack. Instead, she vividly remembered feeling everything. There was the shark's sandpaper-like skin, and she was struck by the overwhelming impression of its size. She couldn't even wrap her whole arm around its body. But even as Addison registered the predator's razor-sharp teeth sinking into her thigh, she felt no pain. Instead, she was dumbfounded. The attack seemed to unfold in slow motion, almost like a dream. She later described the sensation of trying to scream but being unable to make a sound, feeling like she was just going to disappear silently in the water. So she screamed as loudly as she could, hoping someone would hear her and come to her aid. She described the shark's eyeball as being as large as a baseball, extremely big and gooey, which she found revolting even in that tense moment. According to a statement from the Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare, the trauma surgeon performed emergency surgery with the goal of restoring blood flow to her leg. But despite her injuries, Addison's mood was unaffected. In her hospital bed surrounded by plush toy sharks, the teenager remained positive, even though she knew she is set to undergo surgery to have her leg amputated above her knee. "It's going to make it a lot easier in the end," she said. "I'm excited for it. To be honest, I'm tired of sitting in bed all the time. Everyone who knows me knows that I take humor in everything. So yeah, I just like stuffed sharks," she said. "I think it's funny, just making light of the situation." Addison's father later shared on a Facebook post that after all the treatments and surgery, the first thing she asked for was a Wendy's Frosty. He said, "She's been through more than I could ever imagine, but she's a trooper. Please pray for her and the difficulty of her days ahead. She isn't out of the woods yet by any stretch, but she's alive and that's the most important thing to us." Red, her brother, also said, "Seeing how positive Addison has been through this journey was the nicest thing to see." As for her future plans, Addison was undeterred. She plans to go back in the water once she has recovered. "I mean, a shark has always been there. It just happened to attack me," she said. "I lived 17 years without a shark attack. I'm fine going back." In the future, Addison plans to pursue online college, possibly focusing on physical therapy, driven by her own time in the hospital. Last year, which is 2023, she announced she and her boyfriend Ashton are expecting a baby in mid-December. She said life is moving fast and she has gradually been back to her normal life, but with more gratitude this time. Alright guys, that's the end of the story. Luckily it ended on a happy note. I will see you soon with another story. Until then, stay safe out there and goodbye.